Welcome. A warm welcome to those attending and also our viewers and watching live on the Council YouTube channel, Hillingdon, London. Details of our business to be considered today are shown on the agenda, copies of which are available in the room, and it's also accessible online under the live broadcast. For those presenting in the room and attending to speak, please note that you are being filmed and any statement that you make will be recorded and made public. For those solely observing in the room today, you may wish to know that the camera is angled away from the public gallery to where you are sitting. At the end of the other part of the meeting, when the committee moves to discuss confidential matters, the live broadcast will be cut, but we don't have any of that today. If there is a fire alarm, we're not expecting a fire drill, so if it goes off, please can you follow the officers to the exits in the building. If you have mobile and tablet devices, for those in the room, please switch off any devices before the meeting starts or put them on silent. Please note that councillors and the committee may use laptops or tablets during the meeting to view the agenda or paperwork. If you are here, there is a resident feedback form. If you can please complete one of those yellow residents feedback forms at the back of the room, I'm led to believe. The information on these forms is intended to help us improve the way that we run our meetings. Forms can be completed and left at this side of the room for collection after the meeting, or completed and returned by post to the address on the form if you wish. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, you can also complete a form online, as there is a link beneath the broadcast. Please ensure that if you have any declarations of interests, please state your interest is pecuniary or non-pecuniary, and give the reason that we have an interest. Members need not declare any interest in any item on the agenda where they have already listed this declaration of interest on the register. Furthermore, you do not need to declare an interest just because, for example, you're a ward councillor. We don't have a part two, so thank you. Now we'll go to the agenda. Can we have apologies for absence, Neil?
Yes, Chairman. Councillor John Morgan has given his apologies, with Councillor Melvin present as his substitute.
Thank you. Is there any declarations of interest and matters come before this meeting? No, thank you. Do we receive the minutes from the previous meeting agreed? Thank you very much. Matters have been notified in advance or urgent? No. To confirm, there is all the business today is in part one, so it'll be considered in public. I will now go to attendance. First of all, we'll start with the councillors. Councillor Sherry Walai, present.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm present.
Thank you very much. Councillor Mohammed Birana. Dira? Sorry, beg your pardon. Sorry very much. Councillor Nicola Brightman.
Good evening, Chairman. Present.
Councillor Kaufman.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm present.
Councillor John Morse, opposite lead.
Present, Mr. Chairman.
And not last but least, Councillor Melvin. Thank you very much for substituting. I will now go through to the Officer Corps. We have Kate Crosby, our Planning Officer.
Good evening, Chairman. Present.
Thank you very much. Kerry Munro, our Legal Officer.
Good evening, Chairman. Present. Hello, everyone.
Alan Tinney, our Transport Officer.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm present.
Thank you very much. And Ros Johnson, our Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm present.
And not last but not least, Neil Fraser, who is the Democratic Service, who makes sure that I keep myself in order and I do what I'm told. So we will go there. So we'll go straight on to the application item 6, which is 6 St Luke's Close, Cowley. This is a petition item. Those petitions, we have a traffic light system in front of us. Red is when you will stop, and I will stop you, so you have your 5 minutes. But just keep an eye on that. When it's amber, it means that you've got 1 minute left. So, Case, would you like to take us away?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So the first application on this evening's agenda is at 6 St St Luke Close in Cowley. This is the site here. It is a semi-detached dwelling. It's just a bird's view so you get an idea of the area, and this is the dwelling here. So it's proposed to convert this semi-detached house into 6 flats. So there'd be 5 studio flats on the ground and first floors and 1 flat in the roof space. So to facilitate this conversion, it's also proposed to construct a single-storey rear extension, which would be 3 metres deep, and a rear dormer with front roof lights to convert the roof space to habitable accommodation. So here's just some other images of the site. We've got the front on the left there and the rear images in the bottom right-hand side. These are the existing plans, a pretty typical semi-detached house. And in terms of the extensions, this is here, you can see the 3 metre deep extension there, and then they're also proposing a roof extension there as well. And that is to accommodate the flats, which you can see one here, 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 and then again in the roof. So in objection to the proposal, the council has received representations from 2 residents and a petition with 87 signatories. These principally concern car parking in the cul-de-sac and the associated access for emergency vehicles. So as detailed on page 10 of the committee report, the application is recommended for refusal due to 5 reasons. In summary, these are the unacceptable subdivision and loss of family-sized accommodation, the poor quality living conditions for future residents, both in terms of internal accommodation and outdoor amenity space. The rear dormer extension, due to its scale, would be a visually unsympathetic addition to the property. Insufficient parking provision, which would result in highway congestion to the detriment of public and highway safety, and also the excessive hard standing, which would be part of proposed parking at the front, and lack of landscaping provision would have an adverse impact on the area's visual amenities. So officers therefore recommend that members refuse the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. We go to the objector, which is Kathy Willing.
Hello, sorry, apologies for that. Thank you so much for your time today. If I can just explain briefly, I'm representing Bob Allen. He's the lead petitioner. He's actually also my father and sends his apologies. He's out the country at the moment. But just for your information, as well as him being an occupant, owner and a residence in the street, I also do have my own property in the street. I guess just briefly, we have a few main concerns, one of which is on the application it states it's already operating as a 4-bedroom HMO, which would suggest that the change isn't as much. However, if we just explain from the front bedroom windows, for example, they've not had curtains for months and months, which suggests to me there wouldn't be people living in that room as such. And also, we're concerned about how well maintained the property would be, because as you can see, the fence and the wall, the front garden itself, and the back garden, it's all been quite overgrown until it was recently done prior to the application being put in. A key concern of ours is parking. Parking is really difficult in our street, and a lot of us have had to have drop curbs put in to have parking for ourselves. So there is minimal space. So I'm not quite sure how that many more residents, how that leads to parking and how that would impact us. And I guess something that's already been flagged is we've been advised that the plans, we were going, hang on a minute, how does that fit 6 flats? We've been told that the planning regulations say the rooms are too small, and we're also concerned about structural services, so things like the water, we have problems with pressure as it is now, so we're not sure how that would work and the impact that would have. And then basically, just to let you know, my father went round the streets and literally spoke to a lot of residents, as you can tell from the signatures we had. Not one person was in favour that we spoke to, and actually a lot of people worried that there's lots of these happening, not just in our road, but also the other local roads. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Short and sweet. Do we have the agent?
Any questions?
Sorry, beg your pardon. Any members have any questions? No. Sorry, do we have the applicant agent here?
Mr. Kerr.
Mr. Kerr. Okay, Mr. Kerr.
Good evening. Let's start with answering the lady. She said that nobody is living there because of the curtains. I see her every day. 4 people we are living in the property. This picture was taken when we bought the property, and with the invoices it could be provided that the maintenance, it wasn't done prior to the application. This is number 1. This property is being used as an HMO, and when we bought it, it was 4-room HMO. As we are all aware, we hit the pandemic. So when I have approval of loft conversion and rear extension, I would have anyway additional rooms available, and I could rent it out as an HMO, which would be a licensed HMO, in another word, is registered. However, we learned something from pandemic. We need to be we minimize the sharing facilities such as kitchen, toilet for hygiene purposes. So I just don't understand, if we can use it as an HMO that it can be rented to 5 people, why it cannot be rented as individual, which would make more safe and more hygienic. That's what I don't understand. Regarding the parking, we provided the parking, and I wish the council asked us before, because there are companies that can provide on the street parking. They have companies providing measurements. They do this kind of report. We weren't asked about it. Regarding the flats, there is an article saying the main land of the property should be at least 120 square meter in order to do so. I mean, I can't see any property, almost no property in Hillingdon has that base, unless we go, it's not a land. We are not doing something from the scratch to apply all new legislation. It is being used, and we will add just 1 more. I mean, if we rent it out with 5 rooms, what difference is going to make? If I make it 6 rooms, which will have 6 rooms with the loft conversion, according to HMO definition, either toilet, bathroom, or kitchen, one of those should be shared by 2 or more people. So if we have 6 rooms there, what would be the difference renting it to 6 different occupants or 6 different flat tenants? That's what I don't understand. Regarding the parking, as I said, we have 2, and we provided bicycle storages also. I'm almost 100% sure we are going to be refused today. But it's just, I know not everything you've written in the book, but we thought a bit under logic. This is going to go out under HMO. If we can make it more individual, imagine if someone gets sick, so you are going to self-isolate the entire property because you are sharing the toilet, or you're going to share the kitchen. We have this. Instead of going forward, it seems to me like we are going backwards. We don't allow the people. We say, okay, stay as an HMO, share the bathroom, share the toilet. That was the idea behind it. If we don't get this plan, I will continue with the existing approval, which was approved back in 2019, and I will convert this property, and I will continue letting it as an HMO. That's what it was going to be, but that's what we wanted, actually. The decision is yours. It's your consideration. I don't know. Thanks for letting me defend myself.
Thank you very much. Does anybody got any questions? Yes, Councillor Hawala here.
Thank you for your presentation. As a petitioner raised an issue of parking, can you please clearly tell us what are the arrangements for the parking?
He asked you what the measurements were for the parking, but you hadn't done the study. He hadn't done the study, I don't think. You haven't done the study? No.
There are companies making such reports on street parkings in different time of the day, and they provide reports. I mean, we could provide this, but we weren't asked. But at the moment, we have, as you can see, we would have 2 parking spaces at least.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, Councillor Kaufman.
Yeah, thank the officer for their report, which I feel is very robust.
Councillor Coffin, you got a question for the...
No, sorry, Chair.
Sorry, we're not there. We're not quite there yet. You will be the first, though. Okay, I make a promise on that. We still have councillors' report. Yeah, Councillor Morse. Would you like a question?
Just one question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Why have we gone for 6 flats and every single flat is totally unsuitable in terms of living standards?
He asked you. What he asked you was, he said that you've gone for 6 flats, which are under the permitted, was it, space dimensions for the borough. So you just, are you aware of that?
As I said, I mean, we tried to go for the flats. I mean, however, instead of leaving it as an HMO, we thought that a flat would pass, because we thought we didn't know about the Article 4 till last night, that it's Hillingdon is one of those boroughs implying Article 4.
You're very popular. You have another question here, Councillor Borough.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question actually to the President is, what are the fire exit situation? I fail to understand where is the fire exit on this property if it's going to be converted into 6 flats.
Did you get that one? Yeah.
So for the fire exit route, for the ground floor, there are 3 bedrooms, 3 individual self-contained flats, and each of them has directly door to offsite. And for the ground floor, there are existing staircase, which is the route directly taking them to front door to go out.
Okay, thank you. Can you put your microphone on if you're going to... I can't hear you.
What is on the agenda? That's what we're looking at.
Councillor Borough, I don't want to get into that yet. I'm going to open to the floor. I've still got a councillor wishing to has made a statement which needs to be read out. So, thank you very much. Neil, could you please read the statement out from Councillor Mills, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, so Ward Councillor Mills, Richard Mills, provided a statement to be read out on his behalf, which I'll now read. As a local ward councillor, I'd like my objections to this application to be noted by the planning committee this evening, that I know local residents have submitted a petition against as well. There are a number of reasons why this application is unsuitable, most of them linked to overdevelopment. The ambition to convert a semi-detached house into 6 single-unit flats is far too overbearing for what is a small cul-de-sac of a close, as well as not in keeping with the existing street scene and character of the road. The parking provision is inadequate, and by looking to convert this into 6 individual units rather than a family home, it is a fair assumption that the occupants would have multiple cars, thus causing further challenges in a road that is unsuitable for a significant development of this size. Whilst all of the above impacts current residents of St Luke Close adversely, the proposals would also create unfit living accommodation for future occupiers, given the small size of each unit, along with a lack of sunlight, ventilation and amenity space. Members, I trust that along with the content of the report and the points I have raised, this application will be refused permission.
Thank you, Neil. Well done. I'm just going to, before I open to the floor, I'm just going to ask Ros to come back to us about what the rules are about HMOs, so I think that councillors can be a little bit clearer.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just to help members. So ordinarily, you could convert a dwelling to an HMO for up to 6 persons without planning permission. However, there is a restriction on this particular site, so that you wouldn't be able to do that in this instance. If it was to be an HMO for between 3 to 6, you would require planning permission. So essentially, a 6-person HMO isn't a fallback position that you'd need to consider in this particular instance. Thank you.
Okay. I think that clears up that bit about the HMO. And some information for you as well, so you're aware. I don't want you to think. Okay, so open to the floor. I've got Councillor Kaufman and then Councillor Borough.
Thanks, Chairman. I think Councillor Mills has summed all the things up that I was going to say, but I'll just go through them again. I think that this particular plan represents an overdevelopment at the site, and also it detracts from the character and visual amenities of the area, poor quality internal and external living conditions and future occupiers, and will fail to provide sufficient on-site parking to meet the council's standards. According to the application, is recommended refusal by the officer, and I would support the officer's recommendation and go for approval, for refusal. Sorry, Chair.
Opposing that, Councillor Coughlin? Councillor Borough was first. Sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. I think the question's already been asked and highlighted by my colleagues, so I just second the proposal. I go with the officer's recommendation.
I have a couple of councillors on the floor wishing to speak. Do you wish to speak? Or no? No, that's fine. Okay, so what we do is we proposed and seconded. Neil? Okay, so we will go for the vote. Those in favour of officer's recommendation of refusal, please indicate. Thank you. That's unanimous.
Unanimously refused.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much.
So just for the benefit of the, did you just say unanimously?
Yeah, so it's been unanimously been refused, I'm afraid. Okay, thank you. Right, we move on to the next one, which is item 7, 78 High Street. Kate?
Thank you, Chairman. So this application's at 78 High Street in Northwood. It seeks to demolish some existing buildings at the rear of the site and to replace them with a 2-storey building that would accommodate 3 flats and also have an amenity space on the rooftop. So if we just go through, so you can see here that it's also in an area of special local character. And this is the bird's eye view of the site here. And this is the front of the property here. So it's outbuildings or attached outbuildings to the back of the site. I'll show you the site photos towards the end of these slides. So in terms of resident consultation, the council has received a petition with 82 signatories and an objection from Northwood's Residents Association. These are acknowledged on page 33 of the committee report, and the matters raised are addressed within its main body. So officers have assessed the application, and due to the scale, design and siting of the new building on the constrained site, the scheme would appear visually obtrusive and harmful within its setting and the wider conservation area. Let me just flick through to... These are the elevations of the proposed 2-storey building here, and I'll just show you where they're going to be. So these are photos to the rear. So these are the buildings. So on there, and that's just the back of the site. So it will sit pretty much in this space here. So if I just go back to the proposed, so this is the site here. So the building at the front, it's this one here. These are the buildings, these are the outbuildings, the attached, slightly dilapidated outbuildings here that are being demolished. And you can see the ground floor of the building here. So it's replacing, it's coming in this part. These are the upper floors, first floor, and the roof plan. So officers have assessed the application due to the scale, design and siting of the new building on a constrained site. The scheme would appear visually obtrusive and harmful within its setting and wider conservation area, as well as adversely affecting the residential amenity of neighbours. It would also fail to provide quality accommodation for prospective residents, including people with disabilities, and does not provide any evidence as to how it would meet high standards of fire safety and emergency evacuation. Furthermore, as the 3 flats would comprise 2 one-beds and 1 studio, the proposed housing mix is not acceptable. Therefore, officers recommend that the application is refused as detailed on page 26 of the committee report. There's 6 reasons there that pretty much detail what I've just gone through. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Kate. That was lovely. First, we have a written statement from Mrs. Farada.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, this is on behalf of Farida Mamuji, who is a tenant at the shop at 70 High Street and also lives in the flat above. Mrs. Mamuji has been in the occupation of both as tenant in N35. I will read this as if I am she. I've also liaised with others and have petitioned with 82 signatures objecting to the proposal on planning grounds. Indeed, the planning officer's report sets out several planning reasons for refusing consent, all of which I endorse. The planning officer's reasons for recommending refusal include the outlook for the future occupiers is poor and the internal layout is poor. The amenity spaces on the roof and without a lift means anyone in a wheelchair or disability will be unable to get there, and this also allows overlooking of the adjacent properties. I would point out that as well, that this also means any children would only have the roof space as outdoor play space. The site is cramped, and the proposed development would result in a cramped housing that would not meet the requirements of the Hillingdon Local Plan Part 2, which state that housing development should have adequate provision of internal space to provide an appropriate living environment. The planning officer states in several places in the report that the development will cause unacceptable harm to the living conditions and an unacceptable overbearing impact and unacceptable overlooking and privacy issues to the future occupiers and the adjoining properties. The report also states that the proposed development would not be in line with the uniform character of the High Street, which currently contributes to the charm and appeal of the High Street. You will see from the diagram of the site map that the property is surrounded by other residential units, and as such, this development will affect the privacy of the homes neighbouring this property. My shop and my family have been a part of this community since 1985 and would like to continue serving this community for the foreseeable future. I therefore fully endorse the planning officer's report and request the application is refused.
Thank you very much, Neil. Do we have anything from the applicant or agent, Mr. Peter? No, not present. Okay, and we have no comments from any councillors. Well, unfortunately, one councillor is sitting on here, but no. Okay, so I'll open it to the floor. Councillor Melvin, do you want to kick us off here?
Just to say that I agree 100% with the report. I know where the area is. It's within my ward, as I've said before. And yeah, it's just overbearing, and it's just, there's no amenity space for children. I mean, you can't have children playing on the roof. You know, this is absolutely ridiculous. And on top of which, I couldn't see any decent parking. And the High Street is bad enough with parking as it is. So I'm very happy to agree the report and propose it.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have much to ask on this because it's a very comprehensive report, overcrowded, no parking. So I go with the officer's recommendation for refusal.
You're going to second that?
Yeah, I'll second that. Thank you.
Okay, fine, thank you. Councillor Morse, sorry, you weren't in my peripheral row. I do apologise.
All right. All I'm going to comment I'll pass on this is I think I'm surprised that developers haven't made an attempt to negotiate with our planning officers, because we are quite good at negotiating, but they've obviously gone for something which is totally unacceptable. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. It doesn't walk like a duck or quack like a duck. It isn't a duck. Okay, so we have a proposer and a seconder. I will go straight to the floor. Can I have those in favour with officer's recommendation for refusal? That's unanimous. So the application has been refused unanimously. Okay. We go on now to item 8, which is number 2 Gate Hill Road. Kate, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Chairman. So this application relates to a planning permission that was granted in January to construct a 2-storey side and rear extension at number 2 Gate Hill Road. So as you can see here, it is in the Gate Hill Farm Estate area of special local character. And just to provide some background, this is the house currently, and the planning permission that was granted, it looks like this. So it's the 2-storey side extension here, and there's also 2-storey rear extension. So part of the planning permission that was granted this year, there was a condition attached for details of a landscape scheme to be approved. So that's the scheme. It's the landscape scheme before members this evening that we're considering. So this is just some more photos of the site. So as you can see, that there's already quite an existing, relatively mature garden and trees and shrubs and grassed area. So a petition from Gate Hill Residents Association has been received with 26 signatories, as well as 4 separate representations from residents. So in response to concerns were initially raised with proposed LED bollard lighting. So the landscape plan's been revised since then, so it's removed the lighting from the plan. So the proposed, this is the plan here. Actually, that's it there. So you can see, principally they're keeping all the soft landscaping as you've seen in the photos, and the main change is the car parking area at the front. It's currently gravel, so what they're going to be doing is having resin-bound gravel, so it will look the same, but it's more durable. And they will also, in terms of the patio area around the house, they are proposing to have light grey coloured porcelain paving slabs. So the Council's Heritage Officer has reviewed the landscape scheme and does not raise any objections. Therefore, officers recommend that the proposed landscaping scheme is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. Right, we don't have Mr. Gilbert's not here. No. Are you Mr. Carroll? Would you like to speak, Mr. Carroll? Okay, fine. So that's made my evening a lot quicker. Thank you. Okay, so just before I go to the floor, I just want to make sure that we're quite clear that we had some objections because we had a petition. They're not here. Their main concerns were the 17 light proposed, the light pollution, the character of the conservation area will be changed by the lighting. So their main concern here was the lighting, and there's no details of the landscaping. Are we correct that now they have withdrawn the lighting, so that's not an issue? So their only issue was the proposed landscaping. Ros, would you like to sort of expand on that for me?
Yeah, essentially there was an additional point, which was a question mark over the ownership certificate submitted with the original planning permission, or planning application I should say. So we've taken legal advice on that matter, and as part of that we've actually contacted the owner of the site to check that they were aware that the application was being submitted, and they were. So we're satisfied that the planning permission stands and that therefore we can determine this. So that was one of the points in the petition, and the second sort of key thing really was regarding the lighting, and as has been pointed out, that's now been removed.
Okay, before I open to the floor, I just want to, I've got you there, Councillor Brightman, and there's no statements from the councillors. No. Okay, fine. Councillor Brightman.
Thank you, Chairman. It seems to me that as the primary objection was light pollution, and that's been withdrawn, it's a straightforward go with officer's recommendation, and I'm happy to propose that.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wallier.
I second, Chairman.
Thank you very much. That was nice and quick. Okay, so I open to the floor. Please indicate that this application is up for approval. Those in favour of officer's recommendation, please indicate. Thank you very much. So that's everybody. So that is approved today unanimously. Okay, fine. So we go to the next item, which is item 9, which I have to quickly turn my pages to make sure we get it right. This is the Sainsbury's one, obviously. Yes, Sainsbury's Supermarket, York Road, Uxbridge. Kate.
Great, thank you, Chair. So the final application in tonight's agenda is for a new 720 square metre extension to Sainsbury's Supermarket in York Road in Uxbridge. So the proposed extension would provide a new groceries online facility with a new service yard and also some non-food retail space. So it's probably useful to start with where it's going to be going. So it's going to be going up in the north here. So if we go to, that's the bird's eye view, you can see it's going to be attached here. And if you're on the footway looking down, it's sort of lowered below ground a bit, so it's going in this bit. So this is on the footpath up above the site. So if you're standing here, it's going to go in there. And that's just the nearest occupiers are on the other side of the road here. Just another one, if I just skip forward just to see the extension of where it's going. So this is the picture of, well, this is the floor plan of where the extension will be going. So officers have assessed the proposal and consider the principle acceptable, as well as its impact on the character and appearance of the area, neighbour amenity, highways matters, air quality and flood and water management. Subject to planning conditions and a Section 106 agreement securing a financial contribution towards air quality improvement, officers recommend that the application is approved. Thank you.
Okay, very well done. Thank you very much. Anybody got any comments or anything on this? No? Who's going to take me away on this? But if no one's got anything, I have something, so I'll think. I'm just concerned that I don't think I have a problem with this application at all, but I just want to make sure that the lighting, I know it's slightly dipped down. I just want to make sure that we don't have any light pollution going onto those residents, because those, if the operation, or can we give it some times on the operation of this as well, would be handy. Is that Kate?
Thank you, Chair. There is a condition requesting details of lighting. I'm just going to find the number on here. Okay, just give me 1 second.
Okay, take your time, Kate. We're actually ahead of schedule than I thought so. Yeah.
Katie, I can assist. I've found it. It crosses over a page, so it's difficult to spot. So it's condition number 6, which relates to hard landscaping. And one of the points on there refers to the need to submit details of external lighting. So we'll have an opportunity to appraise that when it comes forward.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So, who do I have a proposer, please? Councillor Kaufman, and the seconder is Councillor Brightman. Sorry, a bit slow there, Councillor Melvin. Never mind. Councillor Kaufman, please, you have to say.
I go along with officer's recommendation and go for approval of this planning application.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kaufman. Councillor Brightman.
I second that proposal along with the delegated powers to the Head of Planning, Transportation and Regeneration.
Thank you very much. So that is proposed and seconded for approval with officer's recommendation. Can I have a show of hands, please? That's unanimous now. So that's been approved with officer's recommendations. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a short meeting tonight. Very quick. Well done. And a safe journey home. And thank you very much for your time.